Hello and welcome back. Today we are talking about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart in the sense that I don't have time for bullshit anymore. Like for me, I came from a background of spirituality for years and years and years where I was doing tarot readings. I was doing Mercury retrograde readings and updates and this, that, the other, energy updates, collective feels, all this jazz. And beautiful time in my life, right? Like my intuitive gifts really came out in that time, but there was something that I recognized about 2 years ago, and it was interesting because even thinking about this post, because this is one of my Instagram posts that I'm taking and I'm riffing on further because I know so many people, so many people can benefit from this message today. But it was one of those things that I was in the spirituality world for so many years. And while it has so much beauty, and I even still work with clients that teach this very hardcore, there was a level of non-ownership for what was going on in my life that I wasn't taking it. I wasn't taking the reins in my life, and I was letting things be left up to Mercury retrograde, full moons, the universe, being in alignment, getting my chakras in the right vibe, doing all of these things, meditating, journaling, distracting the fuck out of myself instead of just doing the work that was required to show up and shine online and in my business. And if you can relate to this, let me know where you've loved those kinds of things, but you've seen where it may be limiting you, where this whole idea of I have to be in alignment and I have to be in flow all the time and everything has to feel good and feel groovy and soft girl era. 2 years ago, I just had it. It was pretty much whenever I came across the Gene Keys, which is a deep dive into your astrology. It's something that I taught nonstop for the first year and a half of my business. But it was kind of that aha moment where it was Stephanie, you've been fiddle fucking around for long enough. Excuse my French, we're getting sassy today, but you've been fiddle fudging around for way too long. And it's time to start standing up and putting into use all of these things that you learned and showing up with this confidence that maybe you haven't before. You can't play small. You got to start setting the tone for your life and start moving differently. And so today we're going to be talking about the things that may be keeping you from going as big and growing as much as you possibly can with your online business on social media. And I'm really excited to go into this because these are things that 2 years ago, Stephanie could have needed a good smack on the head and say hello McFly. If you just start focusing on these things, you'll actually start to get results instead of just sitting there and waiting and being the universe is going to deliver me things just because I'm manifesting it. Energy is amazing. Manifestation is amazing. Being in flow is amazing, but that's not the whole freaking picture. That's not the whole picture. You've actually got to have oomph. You've got to have grit. You've got to have tenacity. You've got to have patience. And you've got to have this fire in your belly that hey, I'm not just going to wait for the universe to shower me with all of these blessings. I'm going to play chess. And actually, I'm going to keep moving. And I'm not going to wait for the validation of, is this working? Is this not? I'm just going to go, go, go. And on the other side of that, you become this person that is so unrecognizable in the most beautiful way because you just have this feeling and this drive and this motivation that you're going to make things happen no matter what. No matter what's happening with the planets, no matter what's happening in the world, you go. And these are the things, if I could go back 2 years ago in a time machine, I would tell Stephanie that maybe one of these things is going to change the trajectory of your business today. Maybe you need all of these things that we're going to talk about. But my goodness, some of these are going to feel like the basics. And I love that because I think that the better and better that we get at business basics, the more unshakable we become. And others of these might feel like a challenge and feel like they're stretching you and feel oh my God, I've never even thought about it like this before. And I love all of that for you. I'm such a big believer that we are always in the right place at the right time for the right reason, right? Everything falls into place the way that it needs to be. But there's also the other side of it too, that isn't just energetics, that's actually taking ownership of your life, taking ownership of your results, taking ownership of your business. And that is what I want to help you with today. Hey, Nicole. All right, so I'm going to share the screen over here on my Zoom. By the way, if you have not followed over on my YouTube channel, it's under Hey Stephanie Eastman, same as my Instagram. As you can see here, if you want to listen to this back on the podcast, it's called Tap That Magic, and that's on Apple and Spotify. But I'm just such a big believer. Like I just feel like I need to record everything in like 8 different ways now, because I'm like, damn, if this shit changed my life, like there's so many more people that this means. Maybe one of these ideas can just like blow your business out of the water, blow your confidence out of the water, like help you to start showing up so much more consistently and so much more like with that oomph and that pep in your step than ever before. So share the screen. Beep, boop, boop, boop. So yeah, if you like seeing visuals, you can go over to my Instagram and look at this post. I think, what did I call it? What did I call this? It says, being in alignment doesn't mean diddly squat when you're not doing these things. So I'm going to share it over here. If you need the visuals, go over to my Instagram or watch this on YouTube. And so let's see, present. Okay. Yeah. This whole thing of like chasing alignment, it starts to feel like a little juvenile after a while in the spirituality world. This whole thing of like, I got to get my chakras in alignment so that things can be successful. And I have to heal all of the wounds that I've ever had from when I was like 12 years old. And it starts to become this endless cycle of trying to fix yourself instead of actually like moving and creating and seeing what you're capable of while you're here. Like, I believe that you have so much talent and so many ideas and so many cool things that can change the world that you're sitting on right now, like a little dragon on your stack of gold. But you're too busy trying to like point out your flaws and see everything that's wrong instead of just driving into everything that's right and seeing how you can make it better from there. And so being in alignment doesn't mean you're nervous. Being in alignment, you don't need to be nervous whenever it comes to this, because my God, like, I feel like, okay, before we even dive in, I'll probably talk about this more on another post, but there have been a lot of men in my life that have passed away this year. And if you know me, if you know my background, I did psychic medium work for a long time, like Teresa Caputo, like speaking to people that had crossed over. They'd show me images in my brain, and it was like one of the coolest things ever. And like one of my old coworkers, he passed away. He was probably in his late 30s. Like, my husband is literally at his funeral. My parents are at his funeral right now. That's back in St. Louis. And he was in his late 30s and he passed away the other week. And what I take from that, other than like all the incredible memories and the beautiful things that I experienced in those years that he worked at my parents' bar, this guy, and he just like, he always had a smile on his face and he was always like the center of attention and he was like the coolest dude. But what it made me realize, again, like all of these other people that have passed away in my life in this last year, was like, our life is such a snap. Like, our life is so quick when you really, really think about it. And have you noticed, like, the older that you get, it's almost like time goes faster in a sense, because we have a different way of seeing time. You know what I mean? Whenever you were in 3rd grade, a year felt like effing forever because your context of time was so different than it might be in your late 20s, in your early 30s, in your 40s. You know what I mean? That's why we're like, holy shit, it's already May. Like, things like that. But with Simon passing away, with our friend that we worked with, like, it was again one of those moments where it made me realize, like, we don't have any more time to be afraid. There's not any more time in this life for fear, because tomorrow you might not be here. And I know that sounds morbid and I know that sounds twisted, but in all honesty, it's true. So, like, why not put yourself out there and feel like a dork? Why not make the videos that make you feel cringy as fuck? Like, there's been so many times in my business that I've created content out of alignment that made me feel uncomfortable, that didn't make me feel easy, that once I put it out there, I was just so damn proud of myself because like at the end of the day, you're kind of like this rag. And like think of yourself as this washcloth, just full of like so much juice, so much liquid, so much stuff that can change other people's life. Like, why are we not wringing it out? Why are we not wringing it out while we're here every single day? And whenever I heard that Simon passed away, this guy that I literally thought of as a brother for 7 years. And it's not like we talked a lot anymore. We had grown and moved on to our separate paths. But like, whenever I heard that he passed away, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make him proud. I'm going to show up and be the biggest version of myself because this is a reminder that life is sweet, life is beautiful, life is short, but we are capable of so much more every single day. So Nicole, thank you for bringing that up because I still to this day, not as much as I used to, but there's sometimes where I'll create a post that's like so different or create a video that's different that I'll be like a little nervous. You know what? As I'm saying that, I don't think I feel that so much anymore. But there was a time for years where I felt nervous to get on live video. There was a time for years where I felt nervous to post on Instagram and say the things. But like, I almost feel like the doors have closed in 2024 and I've opened up into something new. And there's just like no more time to be afraid anymore. There's not. There's no more time to try to like fix yourself and try to be perfect and try to be this and that. Like one of the people that I've been learning from lately, I've been in a 6-month coaching container. And my favorite thing that she says is like, make C+ content. Like you don't have to feel perfect. It doesn't have to look perfect. Literally, if you go to my Instagram and you look at this post that says being in alignment doesn't mean diddly squat, like there's so many freaking typos in it that I realized later that I was like, I don't care. I would rather create and I would rather put this out there because I know this information can change somebody's life, whether they read it, whether they listen to this podcast, whether they watch this YouTube video. I got to put this out there. I've got to use, like, I'm breathing for a reason. Holy shit, I didn't know this was going to get so deep today. I'm breathing for a reason. I woke up for a reason. You're here for a reason to make an impact on other people's lives and teach something in a way that maybe this lesson was hard for you to learn, or maybe this is the thing that you studied for 8 months while sitting on your iPhone on your couch that you were just like fucking obsessed with, but you're like, oh my God, I got to teach this to other people. This is so cool. Like you are an expert in your own things. And so it's high time that you stop waiting for the perfect timing and the perfect post and the perfect feeling and the perfect time for a masterclass and just go out there and create again and again and again. Sorry, I just bought my microphone. I just do a little bop. Sometimes I talk with my hands a lot and that's okay. But yeah, alignment doesn't mean anything if you're not doing these things. If you're not posting consistently. I am a MFing broken record about the power of consistency on your social media. And if you've heard me talk before, it's because you know it's these two things. It's like, yes, more eyeballs get on your stuff, the more that you post. That is true. But also, mother trucker, you get so much better at what you're doing the more that you do it. There's a reason why stand-up comedians, and I feel like I use this example so often, but why stand-up comedians tour all over the country for a year or two before they record their Netflix special. Like there's a reason because they see what works and they see what doesn't. I was scrolling through a TikTok today that was like talking about branding. And this guy was saying something about the fact he's like, if I don't have like multiple flops a week, quote unquote, TikTok flops of videos that I'm making, then I'm not trying hard enough. Then I'm not creating enough. Then I'm not showing up enough. So posting consistently, this used to be something that I would like go for a walk and walk around my backyard and wait for wait for the spirit to move me before I would post. And then this post would be like airy fairy bullshit. Like, if we're being totally honest, if you go to the archives of the Stephanie Instagram from years and years and years ago, where I did not show up consistently and I posted like 2 or 3 times a week, and it was more like la di da 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 da. This is a channeled message. No, there was so much more shit in my brain that I could have been teaching people. You know what I mean? Like, you have so much in there. Like, stop waiting around for the spirit to move you. Stop waiting around for inspiration and just start creating, because actually the real flex is whenever you can take what's in this big squishy brain of yours that's already there, and for you to think it's really fucking cool. That's most people's problem. Hey Neff, that's most people's problem, is they don't think that what they have to offer is cool as fuck. God, I'm getting sassy. We're dropping the little F-bombs everywhere, and I can't stop it because like I literally feel so passionate about this. If you know me, you know that I'm like silly and goofy, and I love to laugh and I love to have things be fun, but also I'm serious as fuck whenever it comes to you stepping into your voice and you being a leader online. You said your screen paused. Did I say I was always in alignment back in the day? Like, no, I wasn't even always in alignment when that was my full-blown obsession, was just to be in alignment and just to be in the flow. Or if you're like a generator, if you've ever heard the expression of like, follow your joy. God, I don't know how many times I had to not follow my joy so that I could actually get the things that I desired. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many rules that you get to break on your way to success. And there's so much more that you're going to learn from taking action instead of waiting around for the perfect conditions. Michelle, I totally understand you. Yeah, I needed, like, this is why, and I'll repeat this again and again, because I needed a swift smack in the face with this information 2 years ago. I was looking for somebody to say this shit 2 years ago, and I just felt like I kind of had to go on the journey alone. Like, there were so many times where I was like over analyzing things and like being obsessed with shadow work, and it was cock blocking my success. You know what I mean? Or I was just waiting until I was perfect, or somebody was going to come knock on my door and tell me how wonderful I was. And that's bullshit. I needed to go make it for myself. And so it turns out I was severely limiting myself, my new client growth, my audience growth, just waiting around for inspiration instead of stretching the ideas that I already had in here. One of my favorite things to say is like, how many times have you seen a video blow up on TikTok or on Instagram where somebody is saying a recycled manifestation technique that you've heard 3 years ago, but it's got 1 million likes on it just because that person was brave enough to say it, and say it with their freaking lady balls, and show up and post it because the way that they said it made it click for somebody else. Oh, faith without works equals death. Oh my God. Like, I think about this every day, Neff, is the fact that I've been given these 2 hands, these legs, this voice, this mouth, like a breathing, capable body, so that I can take action and move, so that I can see what I'm capable of while I'm here. That's me. I feel like overthinking, or it's like overthinking is a spell. Yeah, I literally, and I'm a busy brain, mind you. I'm a busy brain too. So if you're a busy brain, like, I understand you on a deep level where it can be so easy to like overanalyze this kind of stuff. And I'm telling you what, consistency will beat it every single time. Showing up for yourself again and again and again, showing up for your audience again and again and again, will only make you more clear and more confident as a human being. And that's when you feel like you're in the flow. That's whenever you feel like you're in alignment. Yeah, analysis paralysis. It is a real effing thing. And I used to deal with it every single day. There was even whenever I started taking my business seriously and I started showing up every day, there would still be times where I would walk around in circles in my closet and I would cry because I was like, I know I have something to say, but I don't know how I want to say it to like post it. And I was just like in this idea of like it had to be perfect instead of just like, Stephanie, just go, just speak, and it will get clearer and it will get sharper, just like an ice sculpture. So one of my favorite comparisons to make is like, to make a swan, you have to cut off the big chunks first, and then you get down to the little details. So having this consistency, no matter if you're on your period, no matter if you have shit going on in your life, no matter if you got your side job, no matter if you're a parent, if you have a fire in your belly, you will make it work. And consistency may look different to you. It may be 5 days a week to you. To me, it's 7 days a week. That feels good to me. And now I literally cannot start my day without showing up for my business. I can't. Like other people's morning routines are like, get in a sauna, meditate, journal, go do your workout, this, that, the other. My freaking morning routine is brush my teeth, feed the animals, post on social media. That's how I feel in alignment. That's how I feel good because I know that I'm showing up and I'm working with what I was given, right? Instead of just dreaming, instead of just wishing, instead of just manifesting, you have to move. You have to move with this. The next thing that people are so worried about alignment, you should be worried about solving a problem for people. That's what your business is about in the long run. You should be making somebody else's life easier through your content, through your videos, through your lives, through everything you're saying. You're making somebody's life easier. And gone are the days of you being able to get away with saying shit like, I help you find your purpose. My God, if that wasn't plastered over my very first sales page, it was everywhere. Step into your dream life. Find your purpose. Like that doesn't mean diddly squid. You know what I mean? Like, of course, those things are going to happen whenever you get the things that you want, but you got to be specific with people if you want to captivate their attention and if you want to actually help them with what it is that they're doing. Like your work is not airy fairy. Your work is not airy fairy. It's not something that's so intangible and so magical. Dan Kennedy, he's like the master of marketing. He's also a total D-bag, but like I needed that whenever I started learning marketing because there was so much shit on the internet about like just be in the vibe and be in the energy. And I needed to like pick up a book of somebody that was gonna no BS me. Like, and so I remember Dan Kennedy, and like maybe it was a podcast episode of his I was listening to. He was talking about the fact, he said, I'll help you build your dream life. If I had a nickel for every time I saw that on a sales page, 100%. And like, I know that the intentions are good, right? Like your intentions to help people are good, but you get to be more specific. Just like whenever you go to the gym, you get to get stronger. You get to feel better. But Dan Kennedy said something that he was like, everybody and their mom basically thinks that they are the exception. Their business is the exception. And it never is the case. Everybody thinks like, okay, I'm going to be the first girl to tell you how special and different and amazing you are. That's like one of my specialties, right? I help pull that out of people, but also like, you're not fucking special. Like everybody, can we be real? Like you're not above doing all of the things that everybody else has to do to be successful in business. So you have to solve a problem. You have to solve a problem. I feel like you're that book for me, LOL. No BS type of girl who will tell it all no matter what. I'm glad that you feel that way because there was a very long time where I was the sugarcoating queen and I just realized I was like, I'm not doing myself or anybody else any favors by sugarcoating shit. Like I don't have time for it anymore. I just don't. Yeah. And so he would say, everybody thinks that their business is special and different. No, you are here to solve a problem. If you want to make money in the online space, solve a problem for people. Don't worry about if you've meditated enough and felt into your desires of being an 8-figure entrepreneur. Go out there and solve a fucking problem and then come back to that. Okay. Solve the problem for a year and a half and then come back to that. So here's as easy as pie. I'm going to make it for you. You help people blank. You help people blank. What do you help people with? And not finding your purpose, living your dream life, getting in the vibe. No, you help people. So for me, whenever I started, I help people learn the gene keys. I help people learn more about their astrology. I help people get more confident on camera. I help people get more consistent in their social media and feel confident while they do that. Maybe you help people intuitively eat. Maybe you help people have a better sex life in their marriage. Maybe you help people make fancy pancakes. Like, what do you help people with? And start saying it again and again and again. And say it in 87 different ways, and say it on a million different TikToks, and say it on LinkedIn, and say it on YouTube, and say it on Instagram. Again and again and again. And even if I help people, Nicole says, I help people communicate their value to potential clients. It's one of those things whenever you can say that I help statement and you can say it confidently, that is so powerful. And it seems so simple, right? Like, it seems so simple just to be like, I help people do this. But whenever you're willing to like put that in your Instagram bio or to say it again and again in your content, that's whenever things start to change, because you feel sure of yourself and your skill set and what you're here to do and what you can deliver for people and the change that you make in people's lives. Whenever you're sure-footed in how you help people, that's when the game changes. Yeah. Not just helping people level up or find their purpose. You're helping them do something incredible. You're helping them do something specific. Get specific with it. The next thing, whenever it comes to alignment, and this is the funniest thing, and I want you always to listen to this with a grain of salt. Anyone that you listen to and you learn from, you should be listening to with a grain of salt, and not just, I'm going to do everything the exact same way. No, because you're a different mother trucking human being. You know what I mean? Like, you have different needs, you have different wants, you have different desires, you have a different way of approaching things than I do. But I will say this, is that getting on live video has been the biggest change in who I am as a teacher, as a content creator, as just like a confident human being on this planet, exercising my voice and using it even whenever I don't feel like I'm jacked up on Mountain Dew riding unicorns. And even whenever I've felt uncomfortable before and I've sweat through my shirt, has been the biggest change of my life. And there were times, I want to tell you the craziest story. Once it was about this time last year, maybe a little earlier, I was really going full pull in my business. And it was like getting to another level, like where I had been showing up consistently for a while at that point, but I was in like my first big launch, and I was like getting on TikTok lives and doing gene key readings like nonstop, because I just wanted to see what I was capable of. To be honest with you, I just wanted to put it out there. And I was like, this is my job to be seen. It is my job to be seen. And I remember there was one night that I promised myself I would get on a live video. And because I had been showing up so much, I jacked up on Mountain Dew riding unicorns. I know that should be a t-shirt. I literally, like, I want to make t-shirts so bad. Like, I feel like I would be very, very good for only the people that have the weirdest brains. The t-shirts would not be for everybody. They'd just be for weird brain people like you and me. But so I knew I wanted to show up on a TikTok live that night, but my head was hurting. And like, literally, it was one of those things that would have stopped me before and been like, no, Stephanie, you need to slow down. You need to pump the brakes. Don't get on that live. And like, I really like had a war internally in my own brain with myself of like, am I going to show up no matter what? Because at the end of the day, all this headache is coming from was stress, anxiety, maybe a lot of like thinking because I was doing so many of these lives. And at the core of it all, I had this feeling that was bigger than the situation at hand. I just had this feeling. And so that was a time where I was more like, I was really starting to understand like the power of your mind and thinking. And I was like listening to a lot of Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor back then. And it was just like helping me get in this vibe of like being consistent, thinking correctly for the things that I wanted to create, right? And taking action with those things. And so I was really into Bob Proctor at that time. I had this headache and I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up on this live anyways. I'm going to show up even though I don't feel like $1,000,000, even though I don't feel like I'm floating on cloud nine, even though I feel kind of uncomfortable and I don't know how many people are going to be on it. And I'm going to probably be talking for like 2 hours because that's when I used to do like 2 or 3 hour lives. It was fucking crazy. But it was one of those things where I was like, I just got to get on. And the craziest thing happened on that live when I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, out of so-called alignment, out of so-called flow. I pushed myself out of that and literally ended up speaking on a live video to one of Bob Proctor's last students, who ended up joining my program later on, who has an incredible social media presence over here on TikTok, literally landed on one of my lives. And he was like, hey, I've taken courses about the gene keys, but nobody's ever said it like this before. And I'm curious to learn from you. Like when I was obsessed with Bob Proctor, like when I was very in tune with all of that stuff, I went against quote unquote alignment and everything that my body and my brain was telling me. And I went with that bigger feeling, that bigger fire of like, you said you would show up for yourself. There's something more here. There's something bigger today. I ended up having like 50 people on that live and like everybody was like dropping their questions, things like that. And that person came through and ended up being in one of my programs. And I told him later about it. And he's like, holy crap, like that's crazy. Hello, little psychic medium bird. So it was after Bob Proctor had passed away, but like truly, I pushed against all of the things that normally would have like slowed me down and kept me playing small and getting on video, even whenever it felt uncomfortable. And like I said, you are smart, you are wise. Take this information with a grain of salt. This isn't about running yourself into burnout and into the ground, which I don't really even believe in burnout if you're doing shit that you love. But this is more about doing more than what you think that you're capable of and showing up on video more than you think that you're capable of and using your voice more than you think that you're capable of. Because on the other side of that is so much power in yourself and belief in your mission and what you're doing. And so if you're never getting on video and strengthening your voice, but you're just like wanting the universe to shower you with like this life where you travel all over the world and where you have like an 8-figure company, but you're not getting on camera and showing up every day, like you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed because truly, if you're here and if you're listening to this, I believe that you have an online personality presence that needs to come out and it needs to speak with people. Like, I don't believe that you just stumble across my stuff whenever you're somebody that needs to be hiding behind your content. Like, no, I believe that you're a face of your brand. Like, you're a person that is meant to stand out. And so never play yourself short when it comes to this, because honestly, I say this all the time, but your voice and getting on camera is the thing that is going to attract or repel people from your world. How many times? I said this yesterday. I was recording a podcast yesterday. How many times have you come across a TikTok and been like, nope, not for me, just from the sound of that person's voice or just from the way that they hold themselves on camera? Like that is your magic. That is your secret sauce. That is your siren's call or your bug repellent. You know what I mean? I feel so called out, Claudia. I get it because like I said, I will never sugarcoat this because this is the swift kick in the ass that I needed 2 years ago, but nobody was there to do it for me. And I was like, fuck, if I needed this advice, like somebody else does too. Even if it's one person, even if it's a million people. You know what I mean? If you're navigating through it, this is why it's so important that you need to be teaching, because if you navigated through it, you can help somebody else do it even easier. Girl, you don't understand your entire confirmation. Yes. Ugh. And so literally, you are robbing your potential clients. You're robbing yourself from how good it can be when you're not showing up on camera, when you're not moving through cringe. I think her name, Courtney Johnson, she talks about LinkedIn a lot and like career stuff and like 9 to 5 jobs, but she talks about cringe mountain and like getting over that. And I feel like whenever people will repost my old TikToks that I thought were the cat's pajamas, there's a part of me that's like, oh God, I thought it was so good. And I look back at it now and I'm like, whoa, like I could just hear the little shake in my voice, right? And I could feel like where I wasn't editing the way that I should have been. You know what I mean? But I'm so proud of that girl because here we are now. And I've never, ever, ever been as confident as I am as I sit here today, hanging out with you, wearing my Care Bear socks, like just knowing that I have a message. And it would never be if I didn't show up even when it felt uncomfortable and get on camera whenever it felt uncomfortable and make those videos whenever it felt so fucking uncomfortable. And like, does anybody even give a shit? Like, are there crickets listening? Are there pigeons listening? Like, what's happening? It didn't matter. There was a fire and it was bigger. Ooh, so you said, I have a question. Where can I start to find out what value I can bring? So my square one with people whenever they come into work or my world is always my Gene Key course. It's called Decode Your Keys. And this is for the person that really wants to understand what their unique gifts and qualities that they bring to the table through their astrology, their human design, their Gene Keys, which is like a deep dive into your astrology. Because here's the thing, I don't live and die by this. Nicole says, amazing course. Thank you, Nicole. Like, here's the thing. I am a stinker in the astrology world, even though I teach it, because I don't live and die by these rules. At the end of the day, this shit is channeled out information, and you or I could channel out the same thing. I want you to know that. But what I will say about it, it is so powerful in the sense that it calls you out of your comfort zone and into something greater. Learning these Gene Keys, this is where I have people start with me because it's truly like pinpointing what you're really good at, like what you most likely have an affinity for, so that you can bring out more of it. Like, that's why I didn't just stop at teaching the Gene Keys, because in my chart, it said, it's like, there's so much fucking power in your voice. Like, there's so much power in your teaching. And I was like, okay, like if I feel this, there's other people out there that need to know about this confidence piece, that needs to know about this voice piece and this getting on camera piece. So I'm actively like living and breathing what's inside of my Gene Keys, but you can teach from there. It is a course. It is over on my Instagram. You can find it over there. It's truly, it was the first stepping stone of all of this. Like whenever I said that Stephanie needed a swift kick in the ass, was the exact same time that I came across these Gene Keys. They called me out in the best way and made me realize I had been playing it small, and helped me to see what it was that makes me different so that I could apply that to my online business and how I taught, how I branded myself, how I created content. That's how I love to teach it. I don't just teach shit for airy fairy good times. I teach stuff so that you can go take action and make money, be happier from it, feel more fulfilled in your career and more self-expressed online. That's why I teach it. But coming back to why we get on online or on video, I will never sugarcoat the importance of this to you. I will never, ever sugarcoat it and be like, oh, you kind of can, you kind of can. No, because that, like at the core of me, this is what I teach. Using your voice and putting yourself on camera, even when you sweat through your shirt, even whenever you feel uncomfortable, even whenever you're doubting yourself, you still get up and say, I've got something to say and I've got something that can change the world. Where were you when I was overthinking? I'm happy you're here now. Well, I'm happy you're here now because this is my thing. Every single morning I get up and I'm like, how can I be the most helpful motherfucker whenever it comes to people gaining their confidence and feeling self-expressed in their online business? And honestly, it sprinkles into all other like places in your life. But I love focusing on business. I'm a 6-year entrepreneur. I've been doing online business stuff for about 2 years now, but I was a lavender farmer before that. I made natural products from scratch and sent them all over the country. And like I've done my fair share of scary, brave things for my career. And I've kind of had this like little eclectic, like I promise you, you have this little eclectic skill set treasure chest in front of you. And so I could look back and be like, okay, I was a bartender. What did I learn all those years being a bartender? Like, not even joking, since I was like 17 until I was 25, I was a bartender. I learned how to interact with people socially on a much higher level than most of my peers. And most of like, especially like when I was 17, I was going into my senior year of high school and my parents had like taken over a bar for my uncle. He had dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Like the whole, like his whole situation was going to crumble if somebody didn't take this business and make it something. And my parents like redid this place and they made it like the epicenter of town. And I was little Lutheran school girl, like had always been in this little box. And I was out with all different kinds of people, like waiting on adults. And like I had to learn how to hold myself differently from that job. And it carried over. I look back, ooh, my Amazon delivered. I got a tiny mic from Amazon because I just felt like I really wanted to have that while I was making videos. Like it just made me happy. I have a big mic, but I wanted a tiny mic. But I look back at did whenever I did like I was a clerk at a hospital for an x-ray department and I learned so much about like health and the body and all of these things that like I used later on in my teaching. I look back to whenever I was a BMW saleswoman and I learned so much about like high ticket sales that I still use to this day. And so you are a melting pot of all. I have a little gnat that's like flying around. Fly free, but fly somewhere else. You're a little melting pot of all of these different skill sets that you've acquired over these years. And it's almost like whenever you have the gene keys, you can write them all out, all of these different things, but also like go back through the jobs that you've had and write out all of the incredible things that you learned from that and see how you can blend it all together. Truly. Like all of your eclectic knowledge has come together at this peak, at this pentacle for a reason so that you can teach. You don't just learn stuff just to literally like shrivel up and die. Like, no, you learn stuff so that you can teach other people to do it easier. And so another piece of it doesn't matter if you're in alignment or not, if you're not showing freaking people who you are. Do you know how many cookie cutter, like if you go on the explore page on Instagram, how many cookie cutter pieces of content there are? And I mean, honestly, I would rather you create content and then make it better from there and put more of yourself in it from there. But honestly, like people want to know who you are outside of your business. I said it once, I'll say it again. Like people want to know what your likes are. They want to know the TV that you're watching. They want to know the books that you're reading. They want to know your pet's name. Like people give a shit about you. And so let them be a part of your world. And that doesn't mean you have to take people in on every single piece of your life, right? There's still plenty of things that I have private in my world, but I love to tell people these pieces about me through my live video or in my written content, or even just the way that I create and I like brand myself. It's like, this is who I am. And that gives people yet another way of saying yay or nay if you're the right person for them to invest in, if you're the right person for them to follow and learn from. You know what I mean? Like, there are things about you that are going to be that subconscious hook for people to be like, oh, that's my girl. Oh, that's my guy. Like, oh, that is my person. I loved you before and I loved what you were teaching, but jeebus, I love, love, love you now. Show people who you are. And I said, you can squeak these pieces into your written content, your reels, your emails, your live videos. I literally made a video a couple weeks ago. It was one of the trending like TikTok ideas that was like, imagine hating me, but I'm just. And so I think what it said was like, imagine hating me, but I'm just reading Draco and Hermione fanfics while teaching women how to be the most confident version of themselves on the internet. So like I was telling people what it is that I help them with, but I was also sharing like, hey, I'm super into Harry Potter fan fictions right now, and especially of the Slytherin timber, like the Slytherin timber. And to the people that love that kind of shit, they're gonna be like you're my girl. I get it. Like I feel that way too, you know? Or whenever I tell people that I read smutty fantasy books or Ice Planet Barbarians or all the A Court of Thorns and Roses and BS, like those are the things about you that you might not think are a big deal, but other people love about you. Like I've sat with so many other entrepreneurs, interviewing them on my podcast, being on their podcast, stuff like that, like going live together. We're all so different. Like we're all so different with the things that we like, with our sense of humor. So lean into that shit. Lean into that because you never know what it is that's going to make a client be like, oh my gosh, okay, I loved you before, but now I really, really love this. The next thing, doesn't matter if your chakras are feeling groovy or not, if you're not improving your freaking content. And this took me a hot sec. Like, I'll be so honest, for a really long time, it felt like I was throwing spaghetti at the wall whenever I started. But I mean, I'm thankful for that phase. But I also knew during that time, I was like, okay, I need to learn how to say this shit in a way that's going to like grab people's attention and captivate them and get them to like look at this and read this and be like, oh shit, this girl does know what she's talking about. And that was my job. That had nothing to do with alignment. That had nothing to do with my chakras or a full moon or bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. No, it had everything to do with me actively seeking to improve my content. Something that I will never forget. I need to take a drink of water. Something that I will never forget is like this quote, like this video that Mr. Beast did. And if you don't know who Mr. Beast is, he's like huge on YouTube. I don't really know what he does in a lot of his videos, but I will listen and stop the scroll anytime I see like a reel or a TikTok of him saying something, because I'm like, this motherfucker like did a lot of right stuff. Like there was a lot of persistence, a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit that went into him being as successful as he is now. So I love to listen to it. And he said something like, I remember, oh, the next door dog is barking. I'm glad my little corgi isn't in here because you would have just heard him yodel. He is a yodeler. Like he does not have like your average bear kind of bark. Like he will shout from the rooftops and it will be a pitch that you're like, why? Like he's so funny. He loves being up here and working with me. But if I'm recording a podcast, I'm usually like, dude, you gotta go downstairs. But corgis love my Pomeranian at the dog park. That's so funny. Corgis are weird, mystical little creatures, and that's why I've always had one since I was little. But back to Mr. Beast. He said he always thought that like his videos, whenever he started, deserved more likes and they deserved more views and all of this. He like had this little like entitlement, and it's like he looks back at it now and he's like, it was baloney. He's like, I thought that I deserved something that I hadn't earned yet. And that really stuck with me because I'm like, if I'm not just in it for likes and views, if I'm in it to be as good, like a really incredible content creator on top of being an entrepreneur and doing the things that I do, because I like genuinely, I have the desire to be an incredible content creator and I get better at it every single day. And so hearing him say that, it's like, girl, like just keep getting to work and just keep getting better at it every single day. And so for me, that looks like doing things like studying hooks. Like people will talk shit about content hooks all day long, but every single person that you know and love uses hooks, uses something that grabs your attention, that has you buckle your seatbelt and say, I'm in. Like, tell me more, please. You know what I mean? That's the thing that makes people last more than 3 seconds of your video. And you can study this in your analytics whenever you look at your videos. This is also looks like hooks are the subject. Hooks are like, so I have a freebie in the link in my bio that I had been creating this list for months and months and months, and I was using it every single day before I posted. So I was like, if I'm using this shit all the time, like other people are going to benefit from this. So I have 107 content hooks that you can use for either written content, video content, live video ideas, things like that. Hooks are like that thing. It's like that first sentence. And whether it be a spoken hook, like you're never going to believe what I did last weekend, or like this is what you have to stop ignoring if you want to get to 7 figures. Like those are hooks, right? Even what is a hook is like sitting there putting on lip gloss or brushing your hair or folding your laundry. Those are visual hooks. And so I knew that I needed to get better with my words and even with the way that I was like creating videos and what I was doing. And like that is not something that can just be like iced over. Like you can't just be in the vibe and be really good at content all of a sudden. No, it's like, again, like I was saying, that video I watched this morning, how that guy said, he's like, if I don't have at least like a couple flops a week, like I'm not trying hard enough. Like I'm not learning enough. I'm not doing enough. And so improving your content through things like hooks, that's me studying social media from hooks to the way people edit their content. I'm invested. Oh, Ina's like, I love studying content. I think it's so freaking like, it's delicious gravy. It's delicious juice that I'm just like, nom, 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 nom. Like, I just want to keep getting better. Even this, look at this thing up here. My YouTube covers used to look like shit. I'll be so freaking honest. My YouTube covers used to look like shit. And I was like, I'm not doing a very good job at this, clearly. And even though I've just been like more recently, like showing up on YouTube again, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to play it small. I'm not going to use these shitty covers. I'm actually going to take my time and make them look nice. And I will tell you what, in 2 years from now, I'll look at this and be like, this is so silly. I guarantee I probably will. I'll be like, oh, girl, you learned so much in that time about how it can look better, how it can sound better. But right now, I'm like, this is me bringing my A game. Like I had to learn to do it better. And every single day, that's just the goal. It's not about likes. It's not about everybody watching your videos right off the bat. It's about you getting better and then you earning that. Truly. New here. I feel this. Hi. I'm so glad. Truly, it's about you getting better at the way that you're speaking, the way that you're coming off, the way that you're holding yourself on camera. Like alignment doesn't mean jack shit if you're not making your content better. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like I'm sorry, but I'm like, but I want you to be better. I want you to do better. We can't be scared to be beginners. Yeah, truly. You just can't. Like whenever it comes to creating videos, I would rather you get out there and you make these videos, you make them scared, you get on the live videos and you feel uncomfortable than to sit there twirling your thumbs, waiting for somebody else to tell you how wonderful you are. That's not what this is about. If you're only in this for the validation from other people, then you can go take a hike. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole subset of the internet that is for instant validation. That's not what this is about. Like I'm truly here because I believe that like being a content creator and showing up and using my voice is the work of my life. You know what I mean? And maybe you don't love it as much as I do, but I had to kind of gaslight myself into loving it, if I'm being totally honest. I had to actually gaslight myself into loving content creation. And that's why I said my morning routine consists of me brushing my teeth, feeding my animals, and creating a piece of content. That is me jumping feet first into my work, into my message, and making that important, even though I would rather like sit there or like watch TV or do whatever, no, like my work comes first, my passion comes first. And I've decided that that is what I'm passionate about, right? About helping people in that way. Long game is an investment in yourself and your work. 100% Third Eye Roses. That's me. I'm creating my content, being nervous and having no idea what I'm doing. Then you're in the best freaking spot. You're in the best spot if you're nervous, but if you're creating, beautiful, because you're just going to get better from there. You're literally just going to get better whenever you show up every single day. And whenever you make it a point, not just to like, every day I'm going to throw spaghetti at the wall. Like that's a beautiful time in your business, but also it like I said, I studied marketing. Even whenever I would listen to Dan Kennedy's podcast, like I said earlier, he's like total jerk, but I needed that. I needed no bullshit. And I remember turning on his podcast the first time and like they were using like marketing like lingo and like saying things and phrasing things in ways like I was like, I'm out of my realm. I'm out of my element here. I feel uncomfortable. Like, but I was like, Stephanie, just keep listening. You're going to get better at this. You're going to figure this out. This is going to be something that's second nature to you in a heartbeat. And it was. It's been over a year that I've been like actively studying content and marketing and selling and then like leaning into the voice piece that's gotten me to this place now. And so it's just about continuing to create. I don't start because I don't know what direction to usually go. Michelle, this is where I was saying the gene keys are going to open that up for you. That's why I always have people square one in whenever you come into my world, if you're called to like, I don't know where to start, the gene keys are where to start because they're going to highlight what it is that makes you different and how you can lean into that. So that's over on my Instagram page. If you go to, it's called Decode Your Keys and it's the grooviest class ever. Yes. And you will find yourself organically. Exactly. You will find your voice. One of the things that helped me though, that was inside of my gene keys was like, there's the 56 gene key. And it was talking about like having a sense of humor. And so that helped me to show up and be like, actually, I do love fucking memes. Like, actually, I do love being weird. Actually, I do love making silly videos. And so it helped me show up like this bigger, bolder, braver version of myself, right? Because I found this thing in my chart and I was like, what if I just like went all the way? What if I just went all the way? It's called Decode Your Keys, the Gene Key course. So go over to my Instagram. I have 2 little links inside of my Instagram there. It has that 107 content hooks. That one's over here on or on TikTok too. And then over on my Instagram as well, Decode Your Keys, the Gene Key course. I think it says learn your gene keys, learn the gene keys. It is like a self-paced course that is honestly, it's going to blow your mind. There's so many hours of love that I poured into that course to help you understand you're weird, you're unique, what makes you different, and lots of different ideas of how you can use it in your business. But truly, you have to be dedicated to the art of content. If you are a business owner, you're not just doing the thing that you do in your business. You are a content creator. You have to learn how to do social media well. It's not something, and this is like something that I think a lot of people will be like, oh, I could pay somebody to do that, or I could do, you know what? My husband, even though he is a computer specialist, forced me to learn how to do my own website. And I was so pissed at him. But on the other side of that, I now know how to operate websites and make them look beautiful and make them work and send out emails and do my podcast stuff. And I'm so grateful that he pushed me to learn how to do that. And it's the same with your Instagram. Like I remember back in the day, whenever I had my lavender farm and my company, like I kind of like robbed myself of a lot of experience because we had somebody else doing our social media, like completely and fully. And I look back on that and I'm like, oh shit, girl, I would have learned a lot and that could have carried over into now. But I mean, it's all okay. It all unfolds exactly how it's supposed to. But there is so much beauty in you learning a skill set and getting better and better and better at it every single day. Leading into the next is selling every day. Doesn't matter if you're in alignment and you're manifesting your face off and you say you're going to have a $20,000 month if you are not selling every day. If you are not selling your private coaching, your course, whatever it is, if you're not selling it every day, it really is a skill set. Yeah, content really is a skill set. Honestly, what I'm learning from this, I need to get out of the brainstorming phase and take action. That's one of the things that I teach in my Gene Key course as well, is that it starts with our energy. We move into the brainstorming, but then we have to execute. That's why I don't teach that shit in an airy-fairy way. I teach it in a how can we go and how can we move? Like, these are ideas, now get going. Like, go. But yeah, breaking it down like that can really help. Oh, you're talking to me. Yeah, selling every day. Do you know all of the 8-figure entrepreneurs that I follow? I wake up every morning to an email from those motherfuckers. I really do. Oh, wait, here we go. It makes you, whenever you've been on TikTok live for over an hour, it makes you solve a puzzle. It literally makes you like go drag a puzzle piece over and be like, are you still there? It's such a funny new development. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll play the puzzle. But every 8-figure entrepreneur that I know and I've followed and I've taken courses from, they are selling every single day. And you might be like, Stephanie, they have people. They have this, that, they were doing it before they had people. It just got bigger whenever they had help. And honestly, a lot of people that I know built up to 7 figures without an assistant or without anything extra. You can do this all. It's very possible. You just have to sell every day. You just have to show up and make it a point to get more crystal clear in your messaging and how you can help people every single day. That's what I've been hearing about TikTok. Yeah. So selling every day is way more simple than you're making it. And it feels hard at first just because it's something that you haven't done before. And where it gets sloppy is like you get in your own head about the fact that you think that you're annoying your audience with your offer. You think that, oh my gosh, I had so many story views on this story, and then I started selling my offer and my story views dipped. Like, who the fuck cares? Honestly, like, who cares? Because if that person in your audience, even if there's 3 people watching your story, if one of those 3 people says yes because you continued to sell for 27 days, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Thanks for being here, Third Eye. Yes. You said I needed this right now. Yeah. No, I told you this is the message that I needed for so long. And I'm so glad that I can just break this down and help other people. It was hard for me to digest all of these things back in the day, but I'm really glad it's like, honestly, this is through 2 years of trial and error and experimenting that has gotten me to be like, hey, I'm going to create this post to make somebody else's life that much easier and happen that much faster for them. Right. But you have to sell every day. You have to sell in different ways. You have to be playful with it. You have to love what it is that you're selling. You have to enjoy yourself with what it is that you're selling and knowing that what's in your big squishy brain and what you've created is here to change somebody's life and that it's different than every other Joe, Schmo, and Larry that's selling something that sounds similar on the internet. You are different. This is why one of the things that we talked about earlier was leaning into these things that make you different, the things that you like, because people are attracted to you for more than just what you're teaching. So it doesn't matter what you're selling at the end of the day. Whenever people love you and they trust you and they want to hear from you, they're going to jump in. My brain is telling me I don't know what to say on camera, but I know that's a lie. Yeah. And whenever I have like that analysis paralysis, whenever I would like come to creating like TikToks and videos or even like selling on Instagram stories, I literally just like I used to just soldier through it. Like, I know that that sounds simple, but truly, you're not going to get good at it unless you do it again and again and again, coming back to that consistency part. Even sometimes when I'm just like recording TikTok videos, I'll sit there and do like 15 videos back to back because I know that I won't use them all. But I know that each one is almost like putting oil in a car, you know, it's making it better and making me more clear and more confident and more bold in what I'm saying, right? Thank you, third eye. Yeah, it's truly, you just got to keep doing it and you just got to keep selling because then you'll get better at selling. Tell people what you have. I have this offer. Tell people why they need it. It's going to help you do blank. Tell people how to buy. Click here or DM me. It's that simple. But it's just about learning to say it in fun and exciting in different ways. I've been selling my Gene Key course for over a year. Not every single day was I selling that Gene Key course, but now I'm finding new and interesting ways to talk about it, right? And I'm just getting better at talking about it. It's one of like my evergreen programs. I literally dumped so much love into it that I'm like, this is perfect as it exists right here. This is going to help so many people. Now it's just my job to continue to talk about it in ways that like genuinely excite me, right? It's the same. Like it's easy to do whenever you have a new program that you're creating or a new idea. But to keep doing it again and again and again, that's where the art form of selling comes in. And so truly, you just got to lather, rinse, repeat. You got to lather, rinse, repeat your selling efforts every single day, and you'll just continue to get better at it. Got nothing to do with alignment and sitting there pretending that you're on a beach in front of your mansion. Like those are ornaments. Journaling, the things that you want are ornaments. Like think about them as a pair of earrings. You don't need that pair of earrings to move your body. Like that's just an accessory, honestly. All you have to do is move. All you have to do is just trust yourself in this belief that you have that there's something bigger there, this belief, these values that you hold, and then build upon that every day. I think this is the last one. Dropping oodles of value. Alignment doesn't mean anything if you're not giving people something to come back for. If you're not truly like at this point, I have been posting, it's been 2 years that I've been posting on TikTok almost every single day. I went through like a crazy girl period where I would post like 8 to 10 TikToks a day. I was literally just like, that was my throwing spaghetti at the wall phase. That was back in like 2022. And I have no shame in that game because it got me really confident on camera, right? But it's been 2 years now that I've been posting consistently every single day. And I still love to deliver because every single one of those days, that's like oodles of free advice that I'm giving. Even me sitting here with you right now, this is free advice that I'm giving, right? And people want to learn from you. Like they're not just sitting there to hang out with you. Like show them something, help them solve their problem and give them an action step to then take. But are you actually I had done a post on Threads before. I had done a post on Threads the other day, or was it this? Oh God, it was this morning. This is what happens whenever you wake up so early. You feel like you've lived a lifetime and it's only like, what time is it? Like 11 something. I don't even know. But truly, I said something about like, don't consume more than you're putting out there. Like, stop consuming so much content and start creating more. Start contributing more. That's what it said. whenever you're contributing, you're going to feel so much better than whenever you're just like gobbling up everybody else's stuff. Like you go out there and be the thing that other people gobble up. Because it doesn't matter if your post only got 8 likes today, 5 years from now, whenever you have a body of work that people can go back and look at, that's going to change somebody's life. That post that had 8 likes. Drop that value. You never know which piece of content is going to be the thing that somebody randomly finds you scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok. You know what I mean? Like people probably find my TikTok. This will probably answer your question. Glowing answers. I see your name. Like a lot of people probably find my TikTok because they've seen my oodles and oodles and oodles of videos on Gene Keys, because I was like literally in the top 2 search whenever you look up Gene Keys. I haven't looked it up for a long time. I assume I'm right there. And like all of my videos are in that because people are curious about their Gene Keys, right? And so you can go find me there, but somebody will find me from that. And then they'll find out like, oh, she teaches on like confidence and consistency online. Oh, she teaches about like content and how to be better with content. And so it's like almost like it opens people up to like, not only does this person do this, but they can help me with this as well. And those are videos that I created 2 years ago, a year ago. You never know. I recently started sharing my story about liver failure and remedies. Oh my God. And that is so specific. That is so specific that the people that are searching for that are literally going to type it in the search bar. You know what I mean? And you can come at that from so many different angles. That's incredible. Thank you for bringing that forward. Honestly, like I love hearing what everybody does and like sharing what they do for their business, because like we're all so different, you know? And even if there are 2 fitness coaches, like they're both going to do it in different ways. But what you have and what you talk about is so specific that it will be that thing that people like search for, right? Like how to make their liver healthier. I've never heard about the Gene Keys till you talked about it. Yeah. And so I had never heard about the Gene Keys until somebody randomly posted about it in a Facebook group. And so I Googled it, and then I literally became obsessed with it. And my neighbor's like yelling at her dog. And so I'm going to close the window. He is kind of like a little shit though, but like I just looked at him and he's like this little wiener dog mix, and he's just like, what did I do? Like he's just standing out there. But this is why I don't have Brad up here, because he likes to chat with that dog. But truly, where was I going with this? Sometimes we have brain spunks and it's okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear about the Gene Keys until I was just like randomly sitting at the farmer's market selling my all natural products. I went like troll mode and just studied them nonstop for the next like 18 months and created a course from it. You know what I mean? And so whenever you hear something or whenever you're pulled into something, it's for a reason. And it may just be a part of a stepping stone, but like the more that you create content, the more that you're giving people to honestly like devour and get to know you and get to learn from you. Oh no, the poor pup. I know they're from like New York City. And so they get like sassy. They're just like sassy, and it's funny. It's so funny. One side of my neighbors are like the sassiest, and then the other side are like the quietest. So she's getting on to him like, Mom. Yeah, she totally is. But truly, drop oodles of value for people. Alignment doesn't mean shit if you're not showing up and creating things for people to learn from every single day. If you're not dedicated to showing up for your business and speaking your message again and again and again. One of my favorite like 8-figure entrepreneurs, I listen to her stuff all the time. She's Exo Gingy over on Instagram. And I've just been listening a lot to her podcast. And do you know how many times she's talked about the importance of brand, or talked about the importance of posting, or it doesn't matter, because her understanding of it evolves more and more and more as she grows. And so you can continue to talk about the same things And it will just be this body of work that continuously evolves, and people won't get tired of it because you always have like a fresh perspective and a fresh take on it. And so I love using the podcast for dropping oodles of values on people. I love getting on live videos, especially like lately on weekends. I think it's a really fun thing to do whenever people are just like, when you're hanging out and you're just like, hey, I'm ready to hear something that's going to activate me. Like, here I am right there, going to drop some oodles of value on you. You get to be that for somebody else. You get to be that thing. And so trust me, as we're wrapping up, there was once a time that I favored being in alignment over everything else, and like only following my joy and only being in the flow. And like, I'm telling you what, I am the happiest little motherfucker, like not worrying about alignment and just taking action, because I'm so much more sure of myself than I've ever been in my entire life, from following this drive and following this just like knowing of whenever I show up, that it always pays off in who I am and who I work with and what I come up with and create. It's just going to get better. And so if I would have let just like sitting around waiting for inspiration to hit me over the head, or the inspiration fairy to come tap me on the shoulders and tell me how wonderful I am and like it's time to create, I would have been robbing myself of so much content, of so much confidence that I've built in myself as a teacher and as a leader, as somebody that uses their voice on the internet, instead of just waiting there, twirling your thumbs for everything to be perfect or for your post to look perfect. It's just putting it out there and moving time and time and time again. And so waiting for alignment and waiting for everything to feel perfect was actually keeping me really fucking small in my career. And once I stopped worrying about alignment and I just started worrying about movement, and then it's a work together, you know, like the energetics have to be there, but also like so many people do not move enough. You're not moving enough. Like I watched the Steve Martin documentary. I was talking about this yesterday. He made his stand-up, like he was working on his stand-up for 15 years before it popped off. And he was like out there touring the country, like literally paying like $250 to go perform for a band and like stay in a hotel and then making $200 back, like paying $250 and then making $200 back for like 15 years while he just like figured it out. And he was showing up every single day. And that was a reminder whenever I was watching that again. It was like, we're so, like, in a sense, we're kind of fucking spoiled in the sense that we can just turn on our camera and talk to people all over the world. Like, I'm literally sitting here in Care Bear socks. I feel like I need to start sharing my socks on all of my videos now, because like having cool socks is like my biggest thing. I always want there to be animals or something fun on it, or Harry Potter or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But maybe I'll make socks one day. But truly, we get to show up from the comfort of our own home, on the go, from In-N-Out Burger, like wherever you want to show up from, and speak your message and record a video that could change your life and somebody else's life that's in your audience. And so you like move, use that, grow, create again and again and again. So true. We literally have a boatload of information just open to us to learn from. Yeah, you don't even have to go to a freaking library to learn about a subject now. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, whatever you've been obsessed with for the last 8 months sitting on your phone studying, like go teach that. Like go teach somebody how to do that easier. Like it's all at our fingertips. It's just about your bravery to get up and speak it again and again and again. And so truly, this is the work of my life, is to help people bring out more of this confidence in their voice and their content and who they are as a business owner. And I would love, 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 like with oodles and noodles of my heart, to help you do this and to make it easier for you than it was for me. Because trust me, there was so much money and time invested into being in this place now where it feels so easy and it feels so fun and it feels so light and it feels more like alignment now. But I want to make this process easier for you. So if truly you are brand new to my world, you're brand new to your business, start with my Gene Key course. Understand what it is that's different about you, and truly, like, I feel like I'll probably sell this forever, or at least for a very long time, because I just know what a difference it made in my life. It was literally the catapult that changed everything. And so if you're uncertain, you start with the Gene Keys. But if you have a fire in your belly and you're creating and you know that you're meant for more, that is whenever our one-to-one time together begins to help you get more clear with your content, to help you get more confident on camera, to help you show up like a motherfucking force of nature on social media and be the kind of person that other people want to learn from. So, multiple ways for us to work together from here. Like I said, I've got the freebie in the link in my bio, 107 content hooks. Keep that in the little file section of your photos and go make pieces of content from that every day for the next 3 weeks. And literally, it will make your life so much easier. You get to use your little, think about your intuition is like one of those little detectors that finds like silver on the beach. It's like beep, 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 beep. I literally go over all of my list of content hooks every morning and I'm like, beep, 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 beep. Like, which one feels hot right now? Like, which one's going to help me say my message as clear as I possibly can? And go use that so that you can come up with these incredible ideas and these incredible, like, life-changing posts that like help you get better at being a content creator, but also grab people's attention and bring them into your world. So let me see you with how much information. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I caught up on the comments, but I love, love, love you. Reach out to me if working together is something that you feel that pull in your belly and you're like, you are the person that can help me. I am here for you. I want to help make business feel fun. I want to help you bring out your weird, interesting, unique personality and not just be like some cookie cutter business coach or cookie cutter health coach. Like, I want to help you really like merge that big-ass personality that you've got with the magic of what you teach and the problems that you solve. So I love, love, love you. I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.